Hey, I'm Logan Decker, editor-in-chief of PC Gamer Magazine, and we are here today to talk about E3 2013, which is just around the corner. And today we're going to look at what the impact of the announcements for the next generation of consoles, what impact that's going to have on the PC. And I can tell you that I'm thrilled. I couldn't be happier. Although, we always go every year through the whole, not every year, but through every generation of consoles. You just have to deal with all the noise and just the constant promotion, because the stakes are so high for the companies. But because this generation of consoles is, well, I mean, for Microsoft and Sony, is built on basically the same architecture as the PC, suddenly porting games is no longer a big deal. You don't have to create, something from scratch. And so I think this is going to be fantastic for PCs because unless a game is absolutely locked down by an exclusive contract, they're going to be able to send these over to the PC much more frequently and much easier than they were in the past, and for way less money and less expensive development, better for everybody.
When you look at it net, there aren't a lot of downsides to this. It really is only good for the PC gaming space.
Right.
The easier portability, which is going to mean more games for people. The Xbox One and its kind of shady feeling right now for indie development just means that we're going to see more indie games available through platforms like Steam, like Origin. The fact that they're changing, that we're finally getting this new console generation, is just going to be another push to make PC gaming even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, free-to-play is a big question for me. How consoles implementation of free-to-play affects PC gaming is going to be interesting because neither Xbox, neither Microsoft, nor Sony has talked about or really even advertised what their free-to-play options are going to be. And they would be foolish not to pursue free-to-play.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, right.
It's a huge opportunity, and obviously they've seen the growth of games like League of Legends and Dota 2. They're not that stupid.
But how do they unify that under their platform, or do they keep that with each publisher having their own system? Like, are you going to have to conform and use something like Microsoft Spacebucks to make all of your in-game purchases, right?
That's exactly what remains to be seen. But either way, I think that space, that those platforms being new fertile ground for free-to-play is going to increase the fertile ground on PC as well. I mean, either as sort of a testing space for a game that is eventually ported to consoles. I think it's also going to mean we're going to see, because MOBAs, I can't imagine them working well on a console with a controller, we're going to see more shooters, we're going to see more action games, we're going to see more puzzle games and more casual stuff as well. That'll probably, in part make its way over to the PC.
Right.
And the only really good example I have now is Dust.
Right.
On PS3, which famously integrates with Eve in certain ways. I don't know what the success has been for that, but I do know when the PS4 and the Xbox One launch, whatever game comes with it. Well, first of all, having a game or two they're free is a huge buying incentive.
Yeah.
And whatever game comes with it is going to get played and make a lot of money through microtransactions. So I think you're right that they would be really foolish to ignore this business model that's grown over the past 5 or 6 years in the U.S.
Right. Yeah, I mean you can't ignore. I mean, obviously we like League of Legends; it's an excellent game, but it, part of the reason it's so popular is it got in early. It was kind of the early adopter. It was one of the first very Western feeling free-to-play games, and that's huge. It's the biggest game on PC. So you got to imagine there's a huge gold rush within the development community to get there first.
And even if the consoles do crack that code and get into the microtransaction space, the things that they learn there, the things those companies pull off, are going to translate to new PC games that we see 2-3 years from now. Mm-hmm. I have the same sort of thinking about the idea of more digital distribution on the consoles. If Microsoft and Sony sell more games through their own platform instead of making consumers go out to the store and buy them, that's just going to open the window of opportunity for people to see the low prices on Steam and want to spend more money there instead of having to wait for the box copy to show up or do their pre-orders through GameStop. They'll become more acclimated to the idea of purchasing games that they may not be able to trade away, which is something that we deal with now and we've embraced pretty happily.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we also can't ignore the technical changes. I mean, previous generation of consoles began about 5 or 6 years ago, and moving up to new technology is only going to increase what the PC is going to be able to do in the next few years. It's going to raise the ceiling across the board, and we are the ceiling.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah, it's
that's
nice
great.
to be the ceiling. I mean,
It's nice to be the ceiling.
yeah. I mean, you know, no one steps on you.
Is that our new motto?
Yeah.
It's
Going on
to be
the
the
cover.
ceiling. Yes.
Well,
T-shirts. Whoosh.
Nice.
it can be frustrating because the floor can never keep up with you.
Yeah.
You know, so this is right now at this tail end of the console cycle, we're kind of seeing stuff and we're like, yeah, I could, you know, my PC is running this at 100 frames a second. You could up the graphics fidelity here. But we'll see it upped now. And, you know, in a way, the consoles provide a little bit of stability for us. You know, a common complaint I hear from like non-PC gamers is, don't you have to buy a new video card every 3 months? I'm like, well, no, not really, because you don't have to buy a new Xbox every 3 months. So it's okay. Not that I don't want to, you know, push what can be done on a high-end PC, but I don't totally mind the stability. So we'll have a new sort of low-end benchmark, which I mean, unless you believe EA's chief technology officer, who says they're like a generation ahead of the PC architecture, you know,
Right.
Even if you did, it won't take us that long to catch up.
they are going to be the new low-end benchmark, and that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Because stuff looks good on them.
I mean, it's important to say that this isn't just graphical fidelity we're talking about. I mean,
simulation
we just heard
possibilities.
that. Yeah, we just heard that PlanetSide 2 is coming to the PS4, which, hey, that's cool. You know, good for them that they're going to be able to find a new audience through there, hopefully. But that's a type of experience, like that scale of experience, that was not possible on, you know, they obviously waited until the PS4 was happening.
Speaking of experiential stuff, we're getting Kinect on PC. Do we care? Are we going to use it?
I mean, I'd rather we get it than not, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
we've
better to have the option.
We've already seen in the past year, you know, you go on YouTube, you type in, you know, Kinect hack or something.
Of course, it's been done.
Yeah, what people have done in a homebrew kind of way, and
Imagine what they could do if they had official support, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Imagine the kind of the projects that we could see coming down the pipeline.
I hope it can handle a little closer proximity. There's another project
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they've got to do that. You know?
called Leap Motion that sits on your desk and just tracks your hands in 3D space. That's not quite out yet, but that interested me.
That I would prefer, because I'm not even interested really in Kinect as a gaming controller. You know, things like you know, being able to move around, like if you're in a planetarium, we were talking about that in the Oculus Rift, you know, being able to, like, you know, rotate your position in a galaxy, or just manipulate things and draw, or you know, using it as an interface thing where, you know, instead of this ridiculous idea where your display is a touch screen and you want to be doing this stuff with Windows 8, I'd rather be able to go, like, you know, whoosh, change a window or separate windows onto two screens. I know that's pie in the sky stuff, you know, for what the sensor can probably do, but that's something I'd be really interested in doing. Whereas if I think, do I really think any of this is ever going to be as good as a mouse and keyboard, you know, for when I used to? Maybe if you've been used to a controller, you know, that's not such a bad thing, but it'd drive me crazy not having, you know, the absolute millisecond accuracy of...
And just that tactile feedback is
exactly
important.
So doesn't the Kinect coming to, you know, Windows PCs, doesn't that open up the opportunity for maybe more interesting peripherals that could come to the PC space down the line?
Maybe. I mean, I'm curious if it's capable of stuff like head tracking in games like Arma, for example, but I'm just not
The
sure.
next generation of IR.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not sure if the adoption rate's ever going to be there on PC. I feel like it's going to be. I don't want to like underestimate the Kinect on PC, but I feel it's going to be sort of a curiosity for experimenters, you know?
Right, and that's, I mean, I can't imagine it going beyond that. Or
unless we start putting PCs next to our TVs, unless we get Steam boxes, and start using them like consoles are used. In which case, you know, there's really no difference. So, you know, I mean, maybe it will be a worthwhile thing. Maybe we'll see Kinect games on Steam. That would surprise me if that happened soon, but
It could happen down the line, though.
sure.
Yeah.
Fun to think about. Sort of.
it's also a little creepy, you know, because I know, like, on the Xbox, it has to always be connected. If you disconnect the Kinect from the Xbox, it doesn't play your games anymore.
And it cries softly.
It mews like a cat.
And that's creepy.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
people are definitely concerned about this. They're concerned about what Microsoft's doing. They're concerned about patents they've seen where you have to, like, jump up and say McDonald's or something to make an ad.
Oh
Like,
my God.
You know, a patent doesn't mean this is a product that's happening, but
They're already talking about achievements for television, right?
they're concerned about their thinking. And you know, something I thought was kind of ridiculous after the announcement was people going like, that's it, I'm becoming a PC gamer. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
it just reminded me of the when political person I don't like is elected, I'm moving to Canada. Like, it's this weird foreign thing that you're just gonna you're leaving, and it's like it's playing games on a computer. Please come join us.
We've been doing that for about 50 years.
If you'd like to come play games with us on a computer, please come join us. If you don't want to put an always on camera in your living room, that's understandable.
Right.
We'll be playing Arma or whatever. Any number of
Come
games.
on down. The weather's great.
It is. It's nice. I'm not saying one is better and that people should. I don't think people should feel the need to convert. It's like.
Oh sure.
Right.
I think the difference between playing a game on a console and playing a game on a PC keeps shrinking. Especially now, it's the same hardware. So.
We were saying at the beginning of the video, PC gamers shouldn't feel insecure about the architectural similarities. Now, the symmetry is only a good thing. Compatibility is only a good thing. It's going to ease development time, porting time, costs. Hopefully, on paper at least.
Yeah, when the PS3 launched, Sony contracted that game company to make it. I think three games. They made Flower. They made Journey, which was a critical darling.
Yeah.
And those were made for the PS3. They were made exclusively because Sony wanted to, of course, make them a draw for the PS3. But, maybe with the PS4, they'll say, well, they're developed on PC with the same architecture. Maybe Sony will decide to start releasing some more games on PC. They have, they do publish PC games. Maybe the console exclusivity between console and PC, I would hope, becomes less of an important thing to them. I don't know that it will. I don't think with Microsoft it will, but no, because they already have Windows 8, so they're like, you already have our OS anyway.
Right.
Buy our hardware if you want to play our games. And they say they have 15, which we may not see. But looking through the Xbox 360's list of pure console exclusives, never came to PC. A lot of it is. Connect dance games that we weren't too worried about anyway. We would want to play that in a living room if we wanted to play it. And some of them are pretty fun, but, a lot of it was stuff we didn't expect to see on PC anyway. Right. So I'm kind of hoping these 15 games are that kind of thing. And, I hope they don't take any, I hope they don't go pull another Bungie and buy something that we really wanted and take it away.
Sure. All right, so it sounds like we all feel pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
We're sensing some good benefits on the PC side from next generation of consoles.
Sure. Absolutely.
And of course, check us out on PCGamer.com. We'll be at E3 all this week, I guess, when this video is published. Checking out all the games relevant to the PC gamers, us. And tune in tomorrow. We'll be talking about E3 2014.
Whoa!
Looking at our crystal ball and doing the best we can to figure out what's going to be happening next year.